What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type. And in this episode, we're returning to Mobile Suit Gundam F90 Cluster. Last time, Ivalu docked with someone named Yuri Manovsky, which turned her Mars Gundam into the F90N Vera Thragna. She took on the Death Guns team, and we saw the death of Bosch Weller. This time, Ivalu works with SNRI. She learns about the Manhunters, and Leon meets a familiar Zeon face. So let's get into this. Leon wants to join up with Jupiter Zeon, but Ivalu can't follow him. Watching Leon during all this chaos, he never wavered. When there was nothing to lose, he was willing to sacrifice himself for Ivalu. He is very strong and he knows what he wants, but Ivalu still doesn't know what she is looking for. She knows it just isn't with Zeon and it isn't with Jupiter. She needs to head to Earth. The two remind each other that their bond is unbreakable and their paths will cross once again. 2 days later at Moshide Marikuru Spaceport. On an Irish-class ship, we meet Lieutenant Commander Gugue Dolce. They received the two F90 units. He is talking to Death. The Irish class is the only ship to survive on the Fetty's End. Novotny and the Admiral Tiamin was shot down by the Olympus Mons laser. Death mentions cargo labeled SNRI junk parts. We learn that the Death Guns team smuggled in a Gundam disguised as junk parts. They're working for the Federation, so they are mad they can't pillage Mars. However, Jupiter Phantom is taking most of the resources for themselves. It seems they have a good relationship with the Jupiter government. Gunmad says Mars, Jupiter, or the asteroids. Humans will breed anywhere and slowly become maggots. He says death is coming. Leon gave Ivalu his necklace before they departed. She enjoys the calm before the storm. On Earth, a Zeon remnant group is looking for manhunters. They hear word of what happened on Mars. They feel they must rise up. An Ag hides in the forest, while a Ram Zagok is hiding in the water. That is when an F-80 attacks them out of nowhere. It happens to be Lyle Wolf. Ivalu goes to visit Death, Navi, and Sid along with the Gundam. She is amazed that a small frame packs such a powerful punch. Navi punches Sid in the background. She too packs a powerful punch. They explain to her how they were tired of making behemoths that are difficult to maintain. So they focus on miniaturizing the Minaski fusion reactor. F90 is the first to achieve a sub 15 meter tall mobile suit. Sid mentions that this is all due to Dr. Guggenvigor, or Gutenvigor, creator of the Formula Project. There has been mention of a professor in the past. This is who that is referring to. Sid explains how there are 26 mission packs designed for this unit. However, we get some new specific details about the unit. Its Vulcans are the Toto Cunningham ASG 105A2. You think it's the same Toto company that makes the toilets? Pre-UC, they switched from making toilets to weapons. What a pivot. It uses Gundarium ceramic composite micro honeycomb armor made by Yashima Industries. I wonder who is running Yashima. Too bad Mirai didn't follow in her father's footsteps. Maybe one less terrorist out there. The engines and the legs are made by NMSD Labs. Ivalu mentions that her mother told her stories of the Gundam being 100-meter behemoths, so something this small is blowing her mind. This is a nod to Tamino's original novel where it is bigger. Just like Gundam GQ magazine, Def tells her that his Gundam actually isn't cutting edge. It was just a prototype. The F91 and F80 are the next stages of the Formula Project. Also Butte Concern, Zimad, and Randiger Heavy Industries are rolling out new and creative mobile suits as well. Zimad? AE swallowed them post 1 year war. Did they break off from Anaheim Electronics? Or is it like Granada Anaheim Electronics, which is essentially just Zeonics under a new name? Ivalu says experience the world in all its vastness. Feel it in your bones. This was a quote by Bosch Weller that Death and Sid recognize. The three continue talking about mobile suits. This reminds Navi of when Bosch used to hang out with the boys. Ivalu seems to be filling in a void that has been missing. August 10th, UC 122, Tanzania, Africa. Ivalu is riding a tiny Wappa. They are the same ones that Uso used in Victory. She gets off and tries to pet a cat that ends up attacking her. A man running a small shop nearby says, "Here, enjoy a Coke on me. I'm buying stock in Coca-Cola. This company is never going to die in my lifetime." The shopkeep says she looks like a lost colonist who's never been to Earth. She loves the taste of Coke. Who doesn't? Friggin' Pepsi people are weird. He mentions the temperature shot up in the past century, making it incredibly hot. It has been 4 months since she last saw Leon. She wonders what he is doing right now. At EFF's Manyara base, Def, Navi, and Sid are eating Federation standard synthetic sausages. They all think this is barely food. That is when Ivalu comes over with a plate full of terrible sausages. Mars doesn't have a lot of resources, so she's an eat like it's your last meal type of person. Def says that their boss wants to meet her. Later, Ivalu meets with Jabjan. they have made repairs on her Mars Gundam. He tells her that they are going to designate Mars Gundam as SNRI's Unit 5, and they're going to make her a contract test pilot. She will help with some operations. He doesn't outright say it, but Jabjan is taking the stolen proprietary technology which belongs to SNRI back. Ivalu goes with it, but if she didn't, I have a feeling Jabjan would say this isn't an option, it is a directive. He wants to know about the person she met that went by the name Yuri Minovsky. He says that they shouldn't take the name too lightly. That is when he dismisses them. You just started talking though. Before leaving, Ivalu asks about Jupiter Phantom's movements. Jabjan tells her that anything past the moon is something that the Federation cares less about. Losing this fleet won't change that. She wonders what was the purpose of the Mars Elder's sacrifice. He gives her access to SNRI's database in the hopes that it provides some solace. Def stays behind. He is now currently the only F90 pilot left. They have Unit 2 after being stolen so many years ago. They aren't scrapping it, but it has Xeon firmware and software, so they consider it tainted and are going to lock it away. He says that they have contingencies and to not worry. They are focusing on the future, that being 2nd Spec Dash and 3rd Spec Cluster. These will be used to test the X and Y-type mission packs. He explains that the 2nd Spec Dash is going to make the damaged Mars Gundam or Unit 2 rebuild and use old parts from the damaged Unit 2. Cluster is going to be a complete redesign of Unit 3's frame from the ground up. This has been in storage since Dur last used it. Def wonders if he is keeping Ivalu around just because the Mars Gundam can use mission packs. He says absolutely not. It is just a byproduct, and he is very efficient. Jabjan also mentions that they have a reserve Unit 4 they can use for spare parts. This is going to be far harder than any testing done before. Def accepts the job from Job? Jabjan senses conflict on the horizon and to watch out for the Mars Gundam. We are about a year out till Crossbone Vanguard begins to make moves. Ivalu is feeling gloomy, so Def takes her out to use her newly fixed Gundam. They roam the African plains. She is enjoying the nature. Def is like, yeah, that's cool, but let's fight. They start their mock battle at a training sector at Kilimanjaro Base, what was once a part of Titan's HQ on the day of its opening. Navi and Sid are nearby in a hover truck. The two duel with their beam sabers. Sid thinks that Def may actually be a good teacher. Def gets a kill. He says her moves are predictable. They begin round 2. Meanwhile, in western Kilimanjaro, Lyle Wolf drives a truck carrying his F80. Ivalu loses all 26 rounds. They have to get back for an inspection with F90, but Ivalu is going to stay behind and continue training. She must get used to terrestrial fighting. She gets a reading of mobile suits close by. Def isn't responding to his comms. She goes to investigate herself. Ivalu finds a complete massacre. 3 Jagans are attacking the city and pushing people out. She calls their unit gem types and doesn't understand why Federation soldiers are attacking their own. Their commander says, "You idiot, we are Space Ice rounding up some illegals." It is MHA or Maha. Interesting, they go by Maha over the Manhunters like in the past. This is also what they are referred to in Gaia gear. I didn't mention during Fastest Formula, but there was a Zorn Soul reference, so this writer is a Gaia gear fan. The Manhunters are in the Jagan Africa Maha spec. The Jagan African Maha specifications is a Manhunter variant of the Jagan which removes the space equipment and the backpack is replaced with a 12.7mm turret. These can use EFF standard armaments, unlike the Jagan Manhunters we saw in Hathaway. Weapons include Vulcan guns, a beam saber, an S-mine, a 90mm machine gun, a 90mm gem rifle, and a shield. The black painted legs seem to signify the Manhunters, which we also see in Hathaway as well. Suddenly, the Jagans are attacked. It is Lyle Wolf in the F-80. He's able to force the Manhunters to retreat. Ivalu attacks Lyle out of panic, but he says that he isn't the enemy. He is looking for Xeon remnants. Meanwhile, the person doing the inspection on F90 is Maha Chief Inspector Rizmera Raymond, as they help out in the city. An old man says that he can tell that Ivalu is Xeon due to her thick accent. He shows her his rank badge, and he says that he used to be under command of New and Bitter. This is the commander of the Kimberlite base that helped Gato escape during Stardust Memories. When they leave, Wolf says that the Manhunters are overextending their power. Even though the Elder was a former Xeon terrorist hiding on Earth, he clearly isn't building the next Delaz fleet. This is no longer the age of the Titans. Wolf loves Earth, but things are getting more corrupt. The Federation has begun seizing civilian property. That is when they are surrounded. Maha tipped him off, and they must comply. Def wonders where Ivalu has been since the incident with Maha. That is when she and Wolf walks in. Navi recognizes him as an Irish legend. He is from Belfast and is being transferred here. Wolf shakes Def's hand and says he wants to battle him one day. Miss Rismera Raymond walks in. She is the one that got them out of trouble. We flash back to her talking to Jabjan. Their incident is proof that some people within Maha are getting paid out to do these manhunts. They need to flesh out this corruption. Although trying to get rid of corruption, keep in mind their goal is still to get every human off planet in what I'm calling hypercontrolism. However, they are using the spoken word to make it happen, as opposed to force. She says they are now very influenced by the late Houtsidi Rona. If humans remain on Earth, Universal Century will cease to be. In the present, Wolf mentions that he needs their help with what he came here for. Ivalu has a new typegasm, specifically saying there is bloodlust in the air. Nearby the base, a pilot named Ludovica is moving in. His mission is to kill Rismela Raymond. His second mission is the Gundam. Manyara base begins firing the defenses. One Jagan normal type is sliced in half by Ludovica in a DJ custom. The MSK 008 DJ Caravina Marmoset Custom is a heavily modified variant of the DJ used by Karaba Ace pilot Caravina Marmoset and later used by the Pan-African Liberation Army. It has an additional binder unit mounted on top of the shoulder. This provides additional mobility and improved ambac system while in Earth's atmosphere. Weapons include 60mm Vulcans, a shield, a beam Naginata, a beam rifle, and a clay bazooka. Ludovica says that the Pan-African Liberation Alliance will stop Maha's tyranny. This was one of the Xeon Remnant groups mentioned in Fastest Formula. He is accompanied by a Dom and a Barzam. What an eclectic squad of mobile suits. They corrupt the base network with a virus. It doesn't look good for them. But the Mars Gundam isn't connected to the network for security reasons. She could go out, but Wolf says the gun raid will handle it. There are a few Zaku's on their team as well. The gun raid is able to take out the Zaku's with ease. He takes out the arms of the Barzam and the Dom when a bombardment comes from the sky. It is Def and Ivalu in the F90X type. The F90X Gundam F90 Xtra type consists of a large backpack with 4 long thruster units, a twin VSBR cannon, and an arm beam saber. The VSBR requires an additional power source. Additionally, it has the X-shaped thruster array. Other weapons include Vulcan guns and a beam saber. This is technically the half-X type, as it is split in half. The X thrusters are on Def's unit designated F90 1/2X, and the VSBR is on Ivalu's unit designated the MS90R2 half-X. Def says to defend the base and try not to kill the enemy if possible. He is amazed by the X-shaped thrusters. He has full control over Earth's atmosphere. We flash back to Jabjan explaining this is a build off of the plunge and flight type mission packs. While testing these packs, they learn that if they arrange the thrusters in an X array to allow the thrusters to move depending on its needs, gives the pilot drastically more control over the unit. Are you seeing what is happening here? Def seems to be testing what will effectively become F97, better known as Crossbone Gundam. Def doesn't understand who needs this power, but he doesn't understand that this power is meant for Jupiter's atmosphere. Def is so fast, he could just ram through mobile suits with immense speed. He is short range, Ivalu is long range, and Wolf is covering their flanks. They are working masterfully together. Navi and the hover truck says something is coming in fast. A missile barrage destroys the ground under Def's feet. This is the unit Wolf was warning them about. This is the Rock. The OMAM 11RF. RF Rock is the successor to the Rock, a Xeon MSV. However, it just shares the name and is completely different, and it is more influenced by Randiger Heavy Industries tech. It has the whisker fins which help it swim without sonar, similar to what was seen on the car Sharius. It also has an I-field generator and a Minovsky crash system, along with an electromagnetic propulsion system. Its main weapon is the megaparticle cannon hidden under the shark nose, which also serves as a multi-purpose launcher. It can transform into the Barak, which is the aquatic form. Other weapons include a phonon maser cannon, an arm drill, cruiser missiles, anti-air missiles, a beam cannon, and a heat claw. It heads straight for HQ. Def tries to intercept. Ivalu fights the DJ. Def catches up to the mobile armor, but it opens up to reveal that an RF Zagok is inside the Rock. The Rock transforms into the Barak. Ludovica says that Maha drove them from their ancestral home. Wolf tells Ivalu to find Def. He will handle the DJ. Ivalu swoops in and runs support for Def. The two have to work together as one. Def deflects while Ivalu rushes in, taking out the Zagak. Meanwhile, along the Mars-Earth trail is the New Jupiter-Mars combined fleet. Leon happens to meet with Charles Rochester. He is happy to see a familiar face. And that will do it for this episode. We are seeing breadcrumbs that the F90 3rd spec is meant to be the testbed for Crossbone Gundam. But what will become of the Mars Gundam? We are also seeing Ivalu tap into a darkness that she doesn't quite understand. Will she become consumed with hate by the end of this? We are caught up in this manga, so we are saying goodbye for now. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, any acknowledgement of Crossbone Gundam is a win in my book. Peace.